There is a quiet force in the universe that builds empires, creates legacy wealth, and turns ordinary people into legends. It doesn't shout, it doesn't rush, but it always delivers. It's the power of leverage and compounding. These aren't just financial principles. They are universal truths. And if you understand them, if you truly apply them, they will change your life forever. To understand this force, we must look at two men who started in the exact same place, working the exact same shift in a heavy industrial factory. The first one was David. David believed in the gospel of raw, unyielding sweat. He arrived first, he left last. He traded his health, his hours, and his energy directly for a steady paycheck. If he wanted more money, he had only one solution: work more hours. He thought linearly. To him, life was a simple equation: 1 hour of sweat equals 1 unit of reward. But David didn't realize his time was a finite resource. And when you trade a finite resource for survival, you are trapped in a cage of your own making. Then there was Julian. Julian worked the same grueling shift side by side with David. But Julian looked at the world through a different lens. He understood a fundamental truth: extraordinary results do not come just from working harder, but they come from working smarter. Julian knew that leverage is when you use what you have to multiply what you can do. It is the tool that turns small, focused effort into massive, unstoppable impact. While David rushed home to collapse in front of the television, exhausted by the day, Julian began his ghost shift. Every evening, under the soft glow of a desk lamp, Julian sought leverage. He leveraged knowledge by reading books and learning from mentors who had already walked the path. He leveraged technology by building automated online systems that could operate while he slept. He leveraged his energy by brutally cutting out distractions, focusing only on what truly mattered. He stopped asking, "How can I do this job faster?" and started asking, "What system can I build today that will multiply my result tomorrow?" In the first 6 months, nothing seemed to change. David looked at Julian and laughed. "Why waste your nights staring at a screen?" David said, and holding up his overtime paycheck. "Look at my immediate reward. I work, I get paid. Your little internet systems aren't making you a dime." Julian simply smiled and kept building. But Julian didn't push David away with anger. Instead, he reached out a hand. One rainy evening, as the factory floor fell silent after work, Julian invited David in a cozy diner restaurant. He sat across from his friend. He turned his laptop around, showing a blueprint of the automated digital systems he was building. He said, "David, look at this. We are breaking our backs to build someone else's dream. Come study this with me. Spend just 1 hour a night learning how to build a system that works for you. Let's build a lever together so we don't have to push this boulder forever." David looked at the screen, then looked away, shaking his head. He smiled a cynical smile, the kind of smile people use when they are too afraid to hope. "Julian," David said, "that's for tech geniuses and dreamers. Look at us. We are factory workers. This is real life. A guaranteed paycheck today is worth more than 1,000 invisible promises tomorrow. I don't have the time to study, and I don't have the energy to chase ghosts. I'm going home to rest." David stood up, grabbed his jacket, and walked out into the rain, choosing the comfort of the familiar path over the uncertainty of growth. Julian watched his friend walk away. He didn't judge him, because he understood a tragic truth about human nature. The hardest cage to escape is the one where the bars are made of comfort, and the lock is made of immediate gratification. David wasn't just refusing a study session. He was actively choosing to protect his current reality. He preferred a lifetime of predictable limitations over a temporary season of intense learning. And so, the two friends split at the crossroads of destiny. One went home to consume entertainment. The other stayed behind to produce freedom. Julian understood the second half of the secret. Compounding. Compounding is the engine, and leverage is the fuel. In the beginning, compounding is invisible. It looks like a flat line. It looks like failure. 10 hours of work yields 0 results. 100 hours yields pennies. But compounding operates on exponential math, not linear addition. It is the snowball rolling down a snow-covered mountain. At first, it gathers just a few flakes. It looks insignificant, but as time moves forward, the snowball doesn't just add snow. It multiplies its size based on the snow it already holds. By year 2, the invisible line begins to curve upward. By year 3, the curve becomes a vertical wall. 5 years passed. The factory faced a sudden economic downturn and downsized its workforce. David, who had given his youth and his raw physical energy to the machinery, was left helpless. His linear income instantly dropped to absolute 0. He was left with an exhausted body and no systems to catch him. But Julian had long since left the factory. The digital systems he built during his quiet nights had compounded. His leveraged knowledge had turned into automated businesses. While he slept, his systems served thousands of people across the world. He didn't just buy a better life. He bought complete, unshakable freedom. He was no longer trading hours for survival. He had decoupled or he untangled his income from his clock-in hours. He broke free from trading his time for money as an employee, as a factory worker. The story of David and Julian is not just a story about a factory. It is a mirror held up to your life right now. The difference between mediocrity and mastery is never a matter of luck. It is a matter of architecture. The universe does not favor the person who sweats the most. It favors the person who builds the most effective levers. Hard work is a prerequisite for success, but without leverage, hard work is just a treadmill. You run with all your might, you burn all your energy, but you remain in the exact same place. Look at the 4 pillars of life where you must apply this truth immediately. First, the leverage of time. If your income is strictly tied to your physical presence, you have a ceiling on your life. You must build or invest in assets, whether it is content, code, digital products, or automated systems that can work for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, completely independent of your breath. You must learn to print value while you sleep, or you will trade your life for survival until the day you die. Second, the leverage of knowledge. Do not try to reinvent the wheel. The greatest cheat code in human history is the book, the mentor, and a repository of human wisdom. When you read a book or learn from a master, you are downloading decades of their failures and successes into your mind in a single afternoon. You are leveraging their lifetimes to compress your timeline. Why spend 10 years making mistakes when you can spend 10 hours absorbing the map? Third, the law of absolute consistency. Compounding demands patience because its greatest rewards are backloaded. The world is full of people who start a project, work hard for 3 months, see no results, and quit. They blame the system, but they simply failed to realize that the first phase of compounding is always invisible. It is a test of faith. You must show up when no one is watching. You must record when no one is listening. You must build when the bank account reads 0, because the foundation must be deep enough to support the tower that is coming. And finally, the courage to defy the crowd. Like David, the people around you will laugh when you sacrifice your leisure hours. They will call you obsessed. They will call you a dreamer. They will mock your lack of immediate results. But you must remember, the opinions of linear thinkers cannot dictate the reality of exponential builders. Let them laugh today, so they can wonder how you did it tomorrow. The moment you stop thinking linearly and start thinking exponentially is the exact moment your life begins to accelerate. Look closely at your hands today. Look closely at your daily schedule. Are you relying solely on your raw, unyielding sweat? Or are you building the levers that will lift mountains? Stop wasting your quiet hours. Reject the cage of immediate comfort. Find your leverage. Trust the compound effect. And watch the universe deliver your legacy. Thank you for walking this path with us today on Life Odyssey. If this message sparked something inside you, please hit like and subscribe. Leave a comment about the lever you are building today, and share this with someone who needs to wake up. Until next time, keep building.